Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined now by trainer Dave Coldwell. Dave, how are you?
I'm alright, mate, how are you?
I'm all good, thanks. Good to hear you doing well. We've obviously just saw Anthony smashing the pads, getting ready for his first title fight. How's he been looking in camp?
Yeah, he's been looking good. We've had some real quality sparring. We've been down at the Ingles gym sparring Liam Williams. It's been really, really good work. You know, he's been getting good 10-round spars in at a time, soaking it up, learning, getting the experience, because Liam's been there and done that, do you know what I mean? And it's been really good work, quality work. So yeah, he's looking well. Just looking forward to fight, really.
I know you've both been keen to try and get him a title fight for a while now. He's shown that he's above the levels that he's been fighting at. Obviously, it's natural progression. You've got to go through those fights that he has done to date. So why is it now that you have decided to make this step up?
Because he's 8-0, he's a former Olympian, and it's always been about adapting to the pro game. It's pros and amateurs completely different. But there seems to be a bit of a jump from the level that he's been boxing at, apart from one or two like Craig O'Brien and people like that. Ryan Thompson's had a good win, and you know he's beaten a couple of good domestic level fighters, but he's got to go to that next level sooner rather than later. And my idea was always Fitzgerald, Commonwealth champion, and then Cheeseman. Fitzgerald fight's not happened. They put it back, and then he ended up getting injured, so that's been put back again further. So we were hoping for the Commonwealth title for this show, and that didn't happen. And so we've got an international sort of title that we're going for against a good opponent. Been given quite a few different names, said yes to them all, and then they agree to the fight, and then they go back, they look at YouTube, as is the case so often these days, and then they turn around and say, I've got a cold. And that's happened to a couple of good fighters, American-based fighters, and they've not come over. So we've got a good fighter, a solid fighter. It's going to be best fighter that he's faced. Still not an elite level fight, nothing like that. But for a kid that's 8-0, to make a step up, I'm happy with the opponent. It is what it is.
We haven't had an official announcement yet as to who he is. Have you got a name for us, or do you know anything about him? What style?
I've got the name, but I don't know if I can say it because it's not, Matchroom aren't announced. It's Matchroom show, so.
Talk to you about the style then that he's going to bring.
He's a good fighter, very good, tough fighter. Comes to wins. He's fought at a very good level. Got a couple of names on there that you'll know of. So yeah, it's a good experience-wise in a pro game. It's a good fight for him.
How difficult does it make your job knowing that you're getting an opponent basically in fight week, so you haven't got that much time to try and prepare tactically?
It's not about that. It's about what he's got to develop and learn in the pro game himself. Develop as a fighter, improve in all aspects. The sparring that he's been getting has been very, very good because it goes towards his improvement. I mean, over the last few months, he sparred the likes of Liam Smith, Jason Quigley, who else? Obviously Liam Williams, some very good top amateurs. Boatsi sparred. It's sparring with good quality fighters. So he's soaking it up in the gym, but then you've got to put it in there when you get on fight night. And when you're in against guys that aren't trying to win, it's very, very hard to look good, because you might not be as alert, you might not be as sharp. And so you get caught with shots that you shouldn't get caught. Shots in the gym where his defence looks better than that, and then you go in a fight and he gets caught with sloppy shots. But his defence hasn't been terrible. It was early doors, and you can see it as a progression. But he's a fighter that wants to knock you out. So fighters that tend to want to knock you out tend to get hit more than fighters that want to outbox you and outthink you. That's the thing about Fowler. He wants to knock you out, and that's his game. That's what he's going to always be about. But the sparring he's been getting is been good. It's good for him to learn, and he's got to go in there on Saturday night and perform. The kid that is fighting, he's not going to knock out with one shot. He's gonna have to work for it, and he's got a fellow that's going to throw back at him and try to win. So
As a trainer and a matchmaker then, have you felt maybe, or has Anthony felt any added pressure to try and get a title fight because of his Olympic background?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely we felt under pressure that we've got to, everyone's shouting saying, why don't you fight Cheeseman now, why don't you fight Cheeseman now? Cheeseman's had about double the amount of fights that he's had. Yes, Anthony had a great amateur career, but amateurs and pros is completely different. And if you look at his last 2 years in amateurs, he got punched in the face a lot. You can't do that when you step into the pro game. So he's had to kind of like rethink things and change up a little bit. If you look at his last 2 years in the amateurs, he was getting cut, he was getting bashed up, his nose was going, and people were saying, oh, he's not going to do anything in pros because they were getting it all the time. So you have to spend time on working that to adapt to the pro game, which is what we've done. But because you're an Olympian and because you shout your mouth off like he does, and he's a character, you kind of rushed. And even though you are only 8-0, look at the rest of the pros. Look at kids that have had 80, 90 amateur fights, 100 amateur fights, and they're 8-0 fighting nobodies. Look at some of the pros that are around now that are 16, 17-0, still fighting nobodies. Fowler's had 8-0 and he's getting pressure to fight somebody. So it is one of those things, but we have to take it, and if he's good enough, then he'll come through. If he ain't, he's got more work to do.
Provided Saturday goes to plan, is next year in terms of Fitzgerald Commonwealth Cheeseman, is that the plan still? Or
It's been my plan, like I said to you, it's been my plan, and I've said it openly for quite a while. My order for his development and for what I want out of him, my order has always been Fitzgerald, then it was the Commonwealth champion, and then Cheeseman. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that would have took you, like, that I wanted that since 6-0. So that would have took you to 7, 8 and 9, right? That's still under 10 fights. So now we're on 8-0. So if that plan comes to fruition, then it'll be 9, touch wood, it'll be 9-0 on Saturday night. So then that'll be 10, 11 and 12. So 12 fight could be Cheeseman. That's not people giving us an hard time saying, oh, you should be fighting Cheeseman. That's not bad. That's not bad. The main thing is that Cheeseman had his learning fight, his experience fight when he fought Carson Jones. He's had that fight, and then since then he's had some good fights and he's developed as a fighter. But you'll see a marked improvement in him since the Carson Jones fight, because that gave him that confidence and he thought, I can do it at a higher level. Fowler's not had that. He's had, like I said, Craig O'Brien's probably the best kid he's boxed. Ryan Toms, them sort of guys are the best kids he's boxed. So he's not had that. Not true because of us. We're trying to get Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's been a pro a lot longer than what Fowler's been. So we've been trying to get somebody at that sort of level. The names that I've said yes to for this fight on Saturday night are good fighters, good quality fighters, American-based fighters. But like I said, it's not happened. So, it is what it is, and we're where we're at. And all we can do is keep working in the gym. He'll keep putting pressure on himself by opening his mouth and tweeting certain things. But that's him. That's the character. That's why people know who he is. You either want to see him get smashed to bits or you're a fan of his. I'd rather work with fighters like that are willing to put the balls on the line and open the mouth and put themselves under that pressure than guys that I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him. It's exciting.
Talk to me as well about the main event, Kell Brook and Michael Zerafa, hopefully looking towards a Brook-Khan fight at some point next year. It's going to be brought up, Dave, but what are your thoughts on the main event, Brook-Zerafa?
It's a solid fight for Kell coming back. He's had time out and whatever, and he's coming back and he should be levels above this kid. He looked good last time out, so it's another fight for him. I don't know. I want him to go out there, look $1 million, and then have a big fight next. Come on, You've seen it. You've seen it. He's lining up Terence Crawford. Fair play to him, Terence Crawford. He's my pound for pound number one fighter. I love Crawford. Ever since I was in the opposite corner to him with Ricky Burns when Crawford took his title, I've been a big fan of his. I think he's a great fighter. But
what were your thoughts when Khan-Crawford, the rumours are coming out?
I know exactly what Khan's doing. He's doing what's best for him. He's doing what's best for him. If he keeps getting beat by elite level fighters, doesn't matter. He still walks around with his head up in the air because he's getting beat by elite level fighters, and he just keeps saying, you know, he's fighting at a better level than Kell Brook. Don't matter if you keep fighting at a better level at Kell Brook, but if you keep getting beat at that level, don't mean that you're any better. But if you lose to Crawford, if you fight Spence, if he fights, I don't care. If he fights all these top guys, keeps getting beat off these top guys, he can walk around the streets. His mates will still say, oh, he put up a great fight against, oh, he's a great fighter. If he gets beat off a Kell Brook, he can't show his face because of all beef that's been going off. Neither of them, whoever loses that fight, has got so much shit to come off of a lot of the public, and it takes a strong man to be able to, you know, to put yourself in that firing line. I know Kell wants it, so you know, it is what it is. But is it going to happen? I genuinely don't think it's going to happen anymore. I thought a week ago, I thought, oh, it might happen this. And now I've seen this rumour, I've just thought, oh, you know what? Fucking hell, how many times how many obstacles is he putting in? How many diversions is he putting in? It is what it is.
Do you think then, obviously you touched on Crawford, and if Amir was to fight other elite level fighters in the 147 division, he might know in the back of his mind, the Brook fight's always there for me if I want it.
That's what I'm saying. Brook says, Brook fight's always there. So he'll get a record with about 7-8 losses on his, and he'll still think they can go to Brook fight. But what you got to realise is that fight, every time one of them keeps getting beat, it diminishes its value. It diminishes it. It's not like they both still keep winning, and yeah, they're getting older, but they both keep winning and not losing anymore. They keep getting beat, and if Khan keeps getting beat, he got dropped in his last fight against the guy that was supposed to be his warm-up fight. So Kell's comeback fight that he had, it looked sensational, it looked great. It's just supposed to, it's a comeback fight. Kell's comeback fight, which was geared for him to look sensational, it didn't look sensational, he got dropped. You're looking at a man who looks like he's vulnerable. If he's getting vulnerable off of guys that can't punch, that is a reason why he doesn't want to fight Kell Brook. Yes, he's not ducking Kell Brook, because you can't say, oh, he's ducking Kell Brook, then he's fighting Crawford, he's willing to take on Canelo, he's willing to take on all these big... He's not scared of the fighters, he's scared of the outcome and showing your face, and like I said, you lose against a Crawford, there's no shame in that whatsoever. You lose against Kell Brook, with all the beef and all the rivalry and everything like that, there's a lot to come with that. You know, it's like a kid that's on verge of fighting for a British title, and a kid at 2-0, 3-0 calls him out. Why is he gonna fight him? Because if he gets beat by him, do you know what I mean? You've got to look at. I understand it from Amir Khan's point of view. I just think, instead of just keep coming out and saying, oh, what's he got? He's not doesn't deserve a fight with me, all that crap. He's done everything that he's told him that Kell's got to do. Kell's gone and done, you know. And it's a bit. It's not embarrassing, because you're only embarrassed if you feel embarrassed. I don't think he feels embarrassed. So
you've mentioned that defeats will diminish the value of a fight. So let's say if a fight was to put on next, is it a stadium fight or is it an arena fight? What capacity in your mind does that feel?
I know some stadiums that hold 10,000. I think it's a 50,000. I think it'll do. I think it's like an Old Trafford. I don't think it's a Wembley. I don't think it's a Wembley anymore. Not unless.
Is it an Old Trafford that people will turn up just for that? It's got to be a very good undercard to support it.
People turn up for that. Listen, you can all say, I'm saying it, I've had enough of talking about it, but do you know if that fight gets signed, I'm there. And know all these people that say the same thing, oh, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, oh, I'm not interested anymore. If that fight gets signed tomorrow, everybody's there. You're there, I'm telling you, you're there. Because it's a fight you want to see, you just want to see, who's gonna be the man that were right all along, you know? So I think it's an Old Trafford sort of size fight.
Now, over the weekend, Dave, we saw Tyson Fury's return fight against Deontay Wilder. What was your thoughts on it?
Oh man, I thought it was brilliant. Do you know what the thing is as well? It didn't beat him or box him in the unorthodox, awkward way that he did Vladimir Klitschko. Whether it's tactics or age or whatever, he didn't have to be that awkward. He just outboxed him. He just boxed and he boxed beautifully, his feints and everything. It just took him apart. But it just highlighted, we've always said technically, Deontay Wilder's not very good technically, but he can really, really punch, and he gets himself in that position, go out like a steam train, wing away. But Fury had got in Wilder's head straight away from round 1, that he'd come out thinking his way into it. And as soon as he starts trying to think his way into it with Fury gets into his rhythm, job done. He boxed absolutely brilliant. He boxed brilliant. I give Wilder the 2 10-8 rounds, and I gave him, I think it was round 2, and that's it. That's all I give Wilder.
So what did you make of the scorecards?
Oh, the geezer that went 115, 111 to Wilder is either a fucking nut job or he doesn't know anything about boxing. You know, there's people like that. I'm in corner. If I do something wrong, like whatever, I don't know. If I jump into the ring or whatever, I get disqualified, right? These judges, if a fighter hits somebody low, gets disqualified, gets consequences. Everybody in the game has consequences. Officials don't have consequences for when they mess up, right? Now, boxing's subjective, I understand that, I get that. But why not be in a position, why not have to have a microphone in front of your face and say, how did you score that fight there? What conclusion did you get? Right, well, I scored it to him because in that round I thought this. At least be in a position where you have to explain yourself. I think if they have to be held accountable and at least explain themselves, that goes some way towards not meaning it's right, but justifying and giving fans, giving people in the game. Tyson Fury's next fight, he goes into that fight, if it's a rematch, he still goes in as a challenger, right? I don't care what the world thinks. The world thinks he won the fight. I think he won the fight. But he goes into that fight as a challenger. So financially, that is a massive difference. So you're screwing people, you're screwing fighters, whether it's at domestic level, whether it's at 6-round level or whatever. When you screw up on a decision, you're messing with somebody's livelihood, right? These fighters are getting in the ring and they're risking their lives every time they get in that ring. Remember on the same night, Adonis Stevenson got injured, right? So Fury's gone in there, giving it his all, come back from what he's come back from, right? Which in itself I think is amazing. But he's giving it everything, and then got screwed over with scorecards, right? Especially the 115, 111, right? So you're messing with somebody's livelihood, because when Fury goes in to fight again, his paycheck is that compared to being heavyweight champion of the world. That's completely different. You're talking about some stupid numbers. You're talking about endorsements. You're talking as a heavyweight champion, even if it's one portion. You're talking about endorsements that have got a lot of value to them, rather than just being another contender. You know. So just on a financial side of things, it has a massive effect on fighters. But then on what his achievement, becoming heavyweight champion again, it's just wrong, man.
Did Tyson's comeback and how good he was surprise you? Was you expecting to see that good a version?
I honestly thought he would be winning the fight, and then he'd get caught, and then he'd get stopped. That's what I thought. When he got dropped, I thought, shit, I'm right. And then when he got dropped in that 12th round, I thought, oh my God, I thought that was it. And then he got up like Jesus in Resurrection. It was, do you know what it was? It was like some sort of zombie film. Yeah. You know, where they think it's down and it's gone, that's it. And the next man comes up again. It was unreal. But I thought, that's what I thought. I thought that he would be winning the fight. I always thought he could outbox him. I thought he'd be winning the fight, and I thought he would get caught. I couldn't make my mind up whether I thought it'd be about 5 rounds or whether I thought it'd be about 8 rounds. But I genuinely thought he'd be winning the fight and get knocked out. And for him to be able to keep that up, and for Wilder to not be able to adjust or do anything with him at all, those two things surprised me.
Just a word on the ref as well. How much credit does he deserve for allowing Tyson?
I like that. You know what? The amount of times, as soon as they go down, a ref will stop it straight away. Just give them a few seconds, let them see. You can fight for a title. It's different if you're just boxing in a 6th round, for nothing. This is for titles. You're talking about heavyweight titles. You're talking, for championship fights. Fighter goes down, just see if he's going to open his eyes and get up, because you've just seen now what can happen. And don't get me wrong, a lot of times they go down like that, they don't get up. But if he'd have stopped that, we'd have been robbed of seeing something special, because regardless of the result, that 10 seconds is special, and it's something that boxing fans will remember as well. One of those. You remember when that happened? It's one of those.
I mean, I was there, and when I was reporting on it, I couldn't fathom it myself. You know, he just looked like he was out cold. I mean, within the last 2 seconds on the count, he managed to get back to his feet. You know, what was you actually thinking when you saw
his
it?
feet, and then he bossed the rest around. Amazing. Really, that's great recovery powers. It is. It is something that, like I said, it don't come around that often. But it made all part of it. And you know what? The rematch will be massive. I think the rematch happens over here. I think the rematch happens at a football stadium, and I think it'll be absolutely even.
Do you think we will see the rematch, or do you think maybe in Deontay's mind he'll be thinking, have I got enough to beat him, or do I unify with AJ, just take the fight? What?
I think he fights Fury, because a lot of people are going to be saying you didn't win the fight. A lot of people are going to be saying you lost the fight, you're not really world champion. So Deontay's he's a good fella, he's a good man, and he's a fighter, and he's a warrior, mate. He's a warrior, and I don't think he'll want that. So I think he'll want the rematch straight away. I don't know. I do. I think he'll want the rematch. I think he wants a rematch. Whether or not the people around him decide to say, no, let's take the AJ fight first, then go back to it, I don't know. But either way, it's either AJ or it's Fury. But I think the fight that everybody wants to see is a rematch. And then for me, Fury wins a rematch. Fury against AJ for all the belts. 2 British fighters at Wembley Stadium for all the belts. The undisputed. Oh my God, that'd be the biggest fight in history, in British boxing history, without a doubt.
And finally, a word on Tony, or Anthony Bellew as he likes to be called now. What's he up to now he's retired?
He's chilling. He's chilling. He's enjoying life. He's getting on with himself. He's doing all right.
Will we expect to see him make a TV appearance anytime soon?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No, I genuinely don't.
Well, Dave, it's been brilliant to catch up with you, and thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure. Cheers.